Hello everybody. How's everyone doing today? How my critters doing? Doing well, I hope. You probably noticed something a little new. We have our critter cam up and running. You guys get to see my chicken coop and my lovely ladies. Out back we have 14 chickens, barred rock, Easter eggers, 14 lovely ladies, and they lay about 6 to 12 eggs a day. And this is their coop area here. My son and I built that. And it's the reason why I'm a little late today. It was getting kind of dirty, so I decided I was going to scrub it up, get it ready for its big debut today. And it was a lot dirtier than I thought it was going to be. Chickens are great. They keep your yard clean, free of pests and whatnot, but they are dirty creatures. Dusty. Anyway, I gave the coop a nice bath, and it's looking pretty good. We do have one or two ladies that are getting a bit broody, and let me see if I can zoom in on them here. Let's see. Can we zoom in a little bit? Yeah. Not sure how well you guys can see that. Is it just not refreshing here? Let's see if I can restart the critter cam. It's one thing I haven't figured out, and that's how to keep this critter cam from falling asleep. There we go. There we go. So we'll just zoom in a little bit more if we can. Get a good look at our girls that are a bit broody. Yeah, they need some good loving. You'll have to forgive me, I'm still a bit new to all this. So anyway, that's the critter cam. We're going to be adding another one so you guys can see their yard where they play and their toys that they have out there and things that they do. You know, something to keep us all a little entertained. So it's been a busy week. All this Vishojo stuff going on. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about it. Too many people have done so much better of a job than I could do talking about it. I'm not throwing my hat in that ring. But it is kind of crazy though. And Iron Mouse raising over $1 million with that Tiltify fundraiser. That's amazing. That's just crazy. So many things going on in the world today. Let's see. What else is going on? Okay. I do have a question. You get on Twitter and you're a wannabe VTuber or established VTuber, and you follow some people on Twitter. And from what I can see, I mean, you just get inundated with requests for commissions of artwork. Now, I dabble a little bit in art. I like to have fun. I made this model myself. I rigged it myself. I'm not professional at all, but I think I did a halfway decent job. It's a PNG that I imported into VTube Studio. It's not bad for starters. But what do you guys think? Do you think I should go for a full model? Do you think that someone could make a full model of a gnome? Because I haven't seen very many variations of themes here on Twitch when it comes to models. I mean, there are a couple. There's Pumpkin Potion. She's got her animation. There are some PNG tubers that have pixel art. But it seems like if it's not anime themed, it just doesn't do it. And I don't know. I thought about using an anime theme avatar here, but I'm sorry. I just love the gnome. I think the gnome does it for me. What do you guys think? All of this stuff that I've put on here, with the exception of the overlay, I've done myself. I've found online. I've incorporated into, and down to the music. I found this royalty-free 8-bit music, and cobbled it all together. Oh, well, look at that. Hey, you know what? At least we know that the overlay works, right? Thank you for joining in. Let's see. Yep, here we go. Hi there, how you doing? I'm glad to have you. So, but I was saying, I've cobbled all this together. I've tried my best. I've learned a lot. But what do you guys think? Jeannie, thanks for joining, Jeannie. It's a hobby right now, VTubing, for me. And I just want to see if I can have fun with it. Everyone who looks or appears to be doing well has given the advice of don't start this with the goal to make money. And I didn't. Started with the goal to have fun and just relax and meet people. And that's my goal, to meet people, to relax, to enjoy, to show off my critters. And what I do here. Oh, Critter cam's down. Have to restart it. Technical difficulties, aren't they great? And let's see. There we go. There's the Critter cam. All right. So I thought we'd chat for a little bit today and play a game or two. As you guys have read from my description, I like to play classic PC games, games that maybe you guys have heard of, but you never had a chance to play, or maybe you've never heard of them at all. Last week we played Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Way back, we played the 1991 version. A game I used to play back in junior high and high school. When I played it in junior high, it was not this version. It was a much older version. My day's going good. You know, I woke up early and I went out to clean the coop, get it ready for the Critter cam here. And the coop was a lot more dirty than I thought it was going to be, so I ended up getting pretty filthy. So that's why I didn't start a bit earlier. How's your day going? Are you doing well? Back to the games, the Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. I chose the 91 version because it's a lot more fluid to play. The interface is a lot more natural, a lot more fun. The older versions, while they were still fun to play, very clunky, and I didn't think it would translate very well. Today's game, I'm not quite sure what we're going to play. I did have one game in mind, a game called Return to Krondor, a turn-based adventure game, RPG. Thought we'd take a look at that and then maybe browse through the library, see what else we've got going on and what else we might be able to put up on the screen. What kind of games did you grow up with? What kind of games did you play? Were you a console person? Were you someone who grew up with Nintendo or Sega, or perhaps later on with the PlayStation or PlayStation 2 or 3? I never really got into the consoles all that much. I did play with the original Nintendo when it came out. I remember playing Zelda and Mario Brothers. I didn't have one, my neighbor had one, and we used to go play over at his house. It was fun. I did have an Atari 2600 though, back when I was younger. And we would play Pong and Asteroids and games like that. A friend of mine had a Vectrex. If you know what that is, or rather if you don't know what that is, it's a self-contained arcade game like the Atari. You plugged in cartridges to play. It had controllers, but it was the full deal. It was a video screen and everything all in one. And you had a lot of fun with it. But I remember going to the 7-Eleven and playing Donkey Kong on the arcade machine they had there. That was fun. And this was back in the days when everything was video games, cartoons, and cereal. if it existed, there was a video game about it, there was a cartoon on it on Saturday mornings, and there was a kids cereal about it. I mean, I remember there was Donkey Kong cereal, Pac-Man cereal, even the Nerds candies that you get with the two sides, each a different flavor. They had Nerds cereal, and the box had 2 different bags in it of 2 different flavors. It was crazy. And of course, we loved it. We loved that stuff. We'd beg for it when we go to the store. Can I have it? You know, it was a lot of fun growing up back then. Maybe I'm just romanticizing it. Most of us do. Most of us do that with our childhood. But you know, it was fun. It was a different time. And hearing about Hulk Hogan passing away the other day at 71 years old. My goodness, I remember watching him wrestle Andre the Giant. And just waiting each week to see them on television and to watch them wrestle. It was crazy. Watching the likes of Ric Flair and Roddy Piper and Randy the Macho Man Savage. Oh yeah. And even they had a cartoon about them. They had a WWF cartoon. It was crazy. A lot of things that I grew up with don't exist anymore. And I don't know. Maybe it was just simpler times, and you know, everything comes to an end, I guess. But I asked this question on Pumpkin's stream the other day. She was getting into nostalgia as well, and I asked if anybody remembered, because some of her audience is a bit older. I asked if anybody remembered getting those big thick packets from Publishers Clearinghouse with all the different stamps and stickers that had the covers of all the magazines on them. I mean, hundreds of these stickers. And my sister and I, we used to fight over who got which ones, and it was just a lot of fun to go through all those things. It was like getting a gift in the mail. It's a lot of fun. Oh my goodness. I don't know if it's hot where you guys are, or if it's cooling down, finally getting steady, but here where I am, it is hot. I don't know if you can see in my critter cam, but I had to put up a shade curtain behind the coop so that my little lovelies didn't die a heat stroke. It's been that bad. I've got a few more coming, and we're gonna string them up in their play yard so they can be out and about while they're playing and not get burnt to a crisp. So hopefully they'll come in soon and we won't have to worry. She's so broody. I'm worried about her. If you don't know, a brooding chicken is when the chicken just sits on her eggs all the time. She won't hardly even get up to eat or drink. It's it's a cycle that a chicken can fall into, and it's not a very healthy one. We've got every now and then I go out and I take her out of the nesting box and help her get out with everyone else. Oh, the cam's down again. But let's see. I've got to find a better program for that cam. It keeps freezing on me. There we go. Oh, she's moving around a little bit. Good for her. All right. Let's see what everyone else is doing. So, what are some of the things that you miss from your childhood? You know, I don't know much about my viewers. You guys could be young, you could be old. I am Gen X, if you couldn't tell. Getting up there. So my childhood very well have been very different from yours as far as the things we did for fun. And I can confirm we did drink out of the hose. We did stay out till the street lamps came on. And we did not go back home unless we were so bored that we wanted our mothers to find us things to do. Can confirm. So the rumors are true. Yeah, we would set out in the morning, summertime of course, when we didn't have school. We would set out in the morning on our bike after breakfast, and we'd take off. We were gone. We didn't have a cell phone, keep tabs on us. We just went and we had fun. You know, and there was a list of places that were acceptable for us to be, and we would hop between those places. And, you know, other places that weren't acceptable that we didn't tell anyone about, of course. And yeah, we got into a bit of trouble, but we had fun. I remember one day, I don't know how or where I got a hold of them, but I got a hold of a handful of quarters, and a buddy of mine and I thought it would be a good idea to go across the big major street to the store, the gas station, where they had the very cheap candies. So we went and we got a big bag full of them, and on our way back we're crossing the street, and my uncle is driving by and he sees us, and I don't know how he did it, but he's practically outside of the car, hanging out the driver's side window, pointing at us, yelling at us to get home because he's coming right now. It was the big street. We were not allowed on that big street. I think we were 8 or 9 years old. And this was a big 6-lane major throughway. It wasn't a highway. I mean, this was a big street. I grew up in Tampa. I'm from New England, but I grew up in Tampa from the time I was 4 to 12. And before and after that, I spent time in New England. But, I mean, this was a big street. Major one. And, oh, we were scared to death. And we hightailed it back home, and he was waiting for us. And that was back when pretty much anyone could whack your backside if you were doing something wrong, and your parents would thank them for it. And yeah, we got our backsides whacked that day. But it was worth it. Not because of the bag of candy we had, but just for the adventure of it. So. All right. Let's see what is going on here. We've been chit-chatting for about 20 minutes. Let's see what the game is like. So this game that I have in mind to start with, it is called Betrayal at Krondor. Yep, Betrayal at Krondor. And this game, it was one of the first games that I actually purchased on CD. It's back from 1993. I had already graduated by then. I had my own place, and I had my own computer, my first computer of my very own. 1993 Sierra Online released Betrayal at Krondor. And this was a RPG game that I thought at the time was just amazing. The graphics, the choices you could make, the way that it moved, it was, I mean, the combination of all of that was pretty advanced for what we were used to. I mean, we were able to play games where you moved around and whatnot, games like Wolfenstein and Duke Nukem and what, but this game, it was, well, it was, like I said, it was something different. Let's start it up and see what you guys think. Let's see here. Don't know if the music is going to be too loud. If it is, I apologize. I'm going to see what I can do about getting it to work properly. Let's let this start up for just a second. Alright, here we go. And we're gonna start a new game. Chapter 1. Into a Dark Night. Blood-soaked rags collected at the boy's feet. One by one he tended the... It's very hard to read. Tended the wincing soldier's purple wounds, stitched, saved, bandaged, and did what little he could in the leaping golden halo of firelight. Fortunately, for his roadside patient, he could do no more than most. Fingers slick with alum ointment, he worked fervently to tie off the catgut cord, then brushed the injury with a light touch that the untrained eye would seem only as a friendly pat. Others would recognize the telltale hand gesture as a magical ward against infection. Done, Owen sighed, wiping his hand in the rust-colored cloth. No guarantees, though. The stitches may hold all the way to Lamont, but then again, push too hard and you could be bleeding like a stuck pig in midsummer. You did fine, Senior Locklear replied, smiling approval before rolling down his sleeve. It'll scar, but it's good for a noble's reputation. Lets the kingdom folk know he wasn't resting on his laurels, and it impresses the ladies. I'll be sure to look you up in Tyburn if I ever need stitching up again. The boy accepted the compliment with a humble nod while he packaged away the rest of his medical supplies. His thoughts focused instead on the third man who slumped in the shadow across from them. Despite the manacles that bound the stranger's hands and the distance that separated them, the boy felt dreadfully exposed. His avenues of escape limited, should Locklear's elven-looking prisoner decide to liberate himself. What did he do? Owen whispered, jerking his head towards the man. Goreth? Let's just say that he had the disadvantage of being on the wrong place at the wrong time, Locklear said, and cautiously he snatched a greenish apple out of his knapsack, offering one to Owen. I have to take him to Krondor. Did he kill someone? Owen asked. No. He attacked you? The Senor wiped the apple juice from his mouth and shook his head. No, not exactly. Well, who cut you up then? Before Locklear could reply, Gorth leapt forward, his chains writhing between his wrists like metallic vipers. Get out from underfoot, Owen. Assassin in the camp. Do not struggle so. Hesse, I wish to keep you alive. But be glad I did not. The goddess of death will show you greater mercy. Chapter 1. Into a Dark Night. But yeah, this is something, this game. We would move either with the keys here and our compass. Let's see. Thinking only made it worse. Setting aside his reservations about pilfering the fallen, he decided he would take what the goddess of luck had given them. However immoral he might feel about it, he was certain his stomach would quickly assuage his guilt if he found a bit of food to eat. And he did. 4 rations and 2 lockpicks. Let's give that to Owen. Yeah. All right. And yeah, as you can see, we've got some vector graphics here. I mean, there are still some games today that follow this type of a format, but not very many. And this was one of the first, very involved. They tried to make it very immersive. Gorth seemed distant, though the Morthal warrior didn't appear grieved about killing the assassin that had followed them from the Northlands. His eyes had a baleful look in them that seemed something between hatred and rage. Several times he glanced back at the corpse that lay behind them in the dust, his thoughts unguessable from his expression. And you can tell that this was meant to be seen on a smaller screen, just from the way the text is put forward. When you see it on a larger screen, it gets a lot harder to read. Do you wish to bury him? We could do that. It is not our way. I simply am somewhat disturbed that he should come after me. He was a kinsman. There are other things that trouble me as well. The Lakin's assistants are slow and not altogether stupid, Another like Hassan, and you'll only have my corpse to drag before Prince Arutha. Sorry you didn't get off that easy. Sorry, you don't get off that easy. As long as you're under my command, you are forbidden to die. Moradel, I've gone too far. Too much trouble keeping you alive to bury you now. It's time we took those chains off for you. It'll be far easier for you to defend yourself if your hands are free to swing a sword again. You're not just going to set him free, are you? I thought you said he was your prisoner. He is my prisoner, Owen. But the circumstances are terribly complicated. Even if he chose to sneak off, he'd be lucky to make it to the next town alive. This is the third assassin we've run into since we left the Northlands, and I have a feeling that more will be waiting for us. He will be much safer with me, and I with him. As the boy would be if he were to whisper the wrong word into the wrong ear. He could easily be the death of us. Me, who am I going to talk to? I'm not even heading in the same direction. It wouldn't be a matter of who you talk to, Owen. There will be ears listening for word of a mortal traveling with a noble damnation. Okay. I should have thought about this when you entered the camp. For the time being, you're my squire. Once we arrive safely at the palace, you'll be free to go on your own way. But I have pressing business in Tyburn. This is not subject to debate. We must get to Krondor. My mission is of crucial importance, and I do not have time to improvise an easy solution. The only other possible option would be to slit your throat and leave you dying. I have absolutely no desire to do that. Now let's get moving before Delkin's assassins catch our scent again. They'll likely come looking when Hassan doesn't return from his mission. A lot of reading and storytelling in these older games. Part of what made it very immersive. Let's check the map, find out where we're going. Let's see. So we are here, and we need to get to Krondor. Where is Krondor? I haven't played this game since '93, so Krondor, there we are. So we're headed southeast is where we need to go. So let's be on our way. Southeast. All right. It's best if we move through town as quickly as possible. I left a wedding party here not too long ago, and it might raise unpleasant questions if I were seen here again. We may need supplies. There's a shop here called the Crossroads where we might be able to pick up a few things. Otherwise, we should be cautious. Alright, so we are going shopping. So this is town. Kind of reminds me of, what is it? Towns in RuneScape. When that first came out. Locklear looked around nervously as Owen knocked. Doesn't seem that anyone's about. Luck's with us. Okay. So I don't think we can enter the house. But for a long moment he leaned against the door frame as he waited, positioning himself so he could listen for the sounds of any stirrings inside. When at last there was evident no one was coming, he stepped back with a shrug. Doesn't seem that anyone's about. So I don't think we're going to encounter anyone in the town. Definitely not a good idea. This is my aunt's house. As much as I would enjoy the opportunity to explain why I'm traveling with a mortal, I think we should leave. Alright, so that's Owen's aunt's house. I don't know which one is the store. The building appears to have been abandoned. They locked up after themselves. Think we should take a shot at opening it up? I think we should. Let's try the key. With a pleasant click, the key turned inside the metal lock. Let's take a look at what's inside. With the lock successfully picked, Locklear pushed open the door and entered the small building. Looks like this used to be some sort of laundry shop, but apparently it's gone out of business. Let's take a look around. Ooh, got some armor. Since these two should already have armor, Owen should get it. Okay, Stand-in Kingdom armor. A thin shell of steel. The plate armor is ideally intended to be worn over a padded piece of clothing that they were regrettably without. But while the thin fabric of Owen's tunic would be a poor substitute for the quilted gambeson, the armor itself would deflect far more sword blows than would bearskin. And this is true. Okay. Oh, I think I took it off of him accidentally. Alright. So let's see what else we got going on here in town. Gareth pointed to the house. I don't know, Owen replied to the unasked question. I know it's not a relative's house. Good enough, Gareth said. Turning on his heels, he marched to the door and knocked lightly as Owen watched the street. After a few moments, a disheveled-looking man answered the door. They talked for a short while, and he discovered the man had spent the better part of the night trying to break into the laundry shop and had recently gone out of business. The owner closed up shop and never returned. The suit of armor I was having cleaned. If you can get in there, it's all yours. I'm very tired. You'll excuse me. I'll have to go to sleep now. Okay. So we've got the suit of armor, and we're moving on out. So since we don't want to go northwest, we want to go southeast. So that's that way. So let's head out over the river and through the woods here. Going to use our arrow keys to help us out a little bit more.
Hold there!
Someone was calling. Recognizing the lilt of a young voice, Owen turned to look back down the road. A young squire that he had met at a party in Yavin was trudging behind them, a pack full of scrolls slung over his shoulder. The squire waved congenially toward Owen and Owen echoed the motion. "What do you think you're doing? We're trying to remain unnoticed," Locklear muttered under his breath, trying to behave as normally as possible. "Since you know him, you handle him. And remember, Gorth's name is Thorgrath." Owen finished, irritated. "I'm not a child, you know." Locklear whispers, "That remains to be seen." "I didn't expect to see you again quite so soon. I would have thought you would be all the way to Lummit by now." These characters look like the stereotypical characters you would see in 70s and 80s swashbucklers. And it's just very funny. Would have been if Duchess hadn't insisted in introducing me to all of her daughters. Amelia was the prettiest, I believe, though I think Catherine took quite a liking to you. Catherine took quite a liking to everyone at the party. She's as fickle as her mother. She'll likely marry a Condon if she could find one not tied in a marital knot. True enough. Say, I thought you said you were from Tyburn. What are you taking this route home for? Kind of a long way around, isn't it? Well, yes, but I had to meet up with my Uncle Locklear here. And my other friend here is an elf, Thorgrath. They decided that it would be nice for me to take a tour with them down to Hawk's Hollow. Down to Hawk's Hollow. I hear it's lovely this time of year. What are you up to? I'm looking to cash in a reward, actually. When I was on my way up to Yavin last month, I found a chest in this area, but I couldn't pick the lock on the thing. I figured it wasn't meant to be and left it off. Thing is, all through the Duchess's party, I couldn't help but think about it. I had chest on the brain. I don't really care what's in it, but I have to pick that lock. Owen asked let's ask about the nearest town. I'm afraid my sense of direction and distance are a bit off right now. We all had a bit of a drink last night, and we're still trying to shake off the effects, which is the nearest place we can get cleaned up. It must have been quite a bender if you're that confused. Head straight south along the main road, and that'll take you into Lamont. And if you're looking for good food, the Blue Wheel is a solid wager. Though I warn you, their Sarari food can be a bit spicy. I, for one, could do with a little less sleeping on the ground. Any good inns you could recommend? There's the Blue Wheel Inn in Lamont, or you might try the Dusty Dwarf at Hawk's Hollow. I suppose if you got really desperate, you could try breaking into one of the abandoned houses. One of the abandoned houses out in that part of the country, but I can't sleep well in a house that may fall on top of me. Of course, it may well be that the people have moved for good reasons. I've heard that several people south of Laurel moved out after a contagion had been spreading near there. Was anything left behind in the abandoned houses you saw? Nothing of any real value. Bits of food and a few cupboards, an occasional gold piece kicked beneath the foundation of the house. Lost items mainly. The majority of the places I visited had those unpickable locks. What are they called? Weber locks? Yeah, they had Weber locks installed, so I wasn't able to get inside them. I'm not certain, but I think it may have missed a very valuable belonging of mine. You shouldn't worry about it. Depending upon where you lost it, the chances are good it'll still be there. Alright, let's say goodbye to him. So this is quite the game, and I don't recall how far I got into the game when I first played it, but I remember I played it for a good long time. You know, I didn't have very many games back then, so the games I did have, I really got into. I really played a lot. I'm pretty sure I did not beat this game, however, when I first played it. But it was fun. And this gives you an idea of some of the things, some of the games that we would play. I'd like to try to find one of the combat encounters that they have here. Let's see what this pile is. Something had been buried under the dirt. The hole is not big enough to put a man in, so it's safe to assume it isn't a grave. Locklear said, might be a secret cache of food or supplies. Let's take a look. Yep, we've got a ration here. Let's give that to him. And don't know what this is, but we'll give it to him. Let's see if maybe it'll... As if seeing the adventure for the first time, he held it up for inspection, shook his head. I've got to get my mind to business at hand, he muttered with a self-deprecating moan. Next, I'll try putting jam on my sword and eating toast laced with silverthorn. So, I guess that's a potion or something? I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee here. Ah, yummy, yummy. Fresh coffee. Love it. So we did find a little something. Don't know what exactly is in the vial, but let's check the map, make sure we're going right direction. Yep, we are headed here down to Krondor. So this is most likely a sign marker. Let's see, Lamut. Yep. So we want to continue to go southeast. And it's getting dark, so we're going to camp. Something moved. On second thought, let's not sleep here, Locklear whispered, gathering up his pack. I get the uneasy feeling someone may be watching us. Pick up your things as quietly as possible and let's move out. I think we may have a fight soon. Oh, who's this? The assassin was a mercenary. Locklear could tell by the hardened steel set of the mortal warrior's face that he hadn't hunted them down to avenge the wrong done to him. Hadn't chased them to collect a debt. He had come because the coin had been to the right color and the right amount. And for that price, win or lose, he would fight them to the death. Alright, so here we've got our combat system. We've got the three of us and our one assassin. And it looks like Owen is first. And let's see. And he's down. The battle was won. Search the body for supplies, Locklear suggested. Ben amended, but make it quick. If there are more waiting out here, let's not be here when they return. Thinking only made it worse. Setting aside his reservation about pilfering the fallen, he decided he would take what the goddess of luck had given him. However immoral... Yep, we've read this part before. Same thing. Oh, nice. We've got some money. More armor. And a good sword. We'll give that to him. And we'll swap out some armor here. Looking good. And we're still heading south. Cut across here. Gareth stopped and stared off in the distance. After several seconds of contemplation, he turned and began to speak. Look at that tree over there. The lower limbs have all been hacked off. That either means we're near someone's property line, or someone was ensuring they had an unobstructed view of the area. If we continue in this direction, we should proceed with great caution. I happen to agree with you. They were being watched. Unsure where their observers were located, Locklear wheeled about just as a figure emerged from behind the trees. Oh, we got two here. So I'm not quite sure of the mechanics of how they decide who blocks, who does what. And looks like he's on the run, so let's go get him. Oh no, you don't. Get back here. One down. And he's running off. Oh, goodness. So, the type of attacks are very limited to what we get. I think next battle, we'll see what magic Owen has, if any. Okay, here we've got, is that a whetstone? Alright, let's see what type of armor he's got. 23, so we're gonna do that here. Yep, a whetstone. Let's see. Good. Let's give that to him. And there we go. Okay. I say one more battle and then we swap up games, see what else we can play. We need rest, he said, looking for a good place to camp. If we go much further without sleep, we might not be able to handle an unexpected surprise on the road. Yeah, I tried to get you to rest, my brother. Alright. So we're resting. How do we... Okay, so we got some rest. And we're moving on. And still headed southeast. Trying to get to Krondor. Let's check our map again. Make sure we're going the right direction. So we just passed Lamont. And there's Hawks Hollow. Now, do we want to try to go to Hawks Hollow? I think we might, so we'll have to turn east. A bell rang. No sooner had Locklear managed to get the door open than he found a shopkeeper was escorting them inside. Oh, that's service. Locklear sniffed, rubbing his irritated nose. He struggled up against the urge to sneeze. But the smoky interior of the shop made it hard to maintain his demeanor. More annoying, the smoke obscured his view of the vials and jars crammed on the store shelves, most of which appeared to contain herbs or incense. Let's see what we got. So, adventure scene. So that's what we have, adventure scene. Uncorking the mouth of the oilskin, Garth poured out a small portion of the gold-flecked lacquer onto his palm and examined it. Named after the type of impure brown glass common in Rolanon, it was ideal resin to use at crossbow strings when they began to lose their cohesiveness. Okay, so adventure scene. And we want to sell it. Can only offer you 4 sovereigns and 7 royals for it. We'll accept it. Since we don't have any crossbows to use it with, we'll accept it. Let's see what's in the shop. Okay. I think we're pretty much done in the shop. Doesn't seem to be anything else that we could use. Let's see what else is around. This place is abandoned. Looking around the room, maybe the occupants left something behind we could use. Let's have a look. Ah, looks like we've got a bowstring and some money. Locklear knocked on the door. For a long moment he leaned against the frame and waited, positioning himself so he could listen for the sounds of stirrings inside. When at last it was evident that no one was coming, he stepped back with a shrug. Doesn't seem to be anyone about. You'll notice that in these older games, a lot of the dialogue is reused. The door swung open. Bleary-eyed and smelling of alcohol, a 40-ish looking man sneered at them. "Well, what do you want?" he shouted. "Out with it!" We were hoping you could give us directions. Directions? Directions? The man's eyes blazed as he snared a wine bottle from the floor. I'll give you directions. Before Locklear could react, he felt the impact of the wine bottle against his skull. Really, I thought he would have been a little quicker on his feet than that. All right. So, the town was a bust. That was the town of Zun. If we head east, we can go to Hawks Hollow, or we can continue south down the road. But I think we'll end it here for now. And we'll save the game. Off the Hawks Hollow. And we'll quit. So, what did you guys think of that game? I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, especially not with games like Skyrim and Oblivion Remastered coming out. But, you know, this was our Skyrim. This was our Oblivion. This was the games that we played. And it was fun for us. This was our adventure. So, gonna try to put in another game that I grew up with. Well, didn't grow up. I was grown up already. This game came out in '97. It was actually the second in the series, and you guys are probably gonna recognize it. It's one of the forerunners to those shoot 'em up games that everyone loves so much nowadays. Without these games, there would be no Borderlands, no Fortnite. You know, these games are the granddaddies, so to speak. Started off with Wolfenstein, and then we had Doom and Hexen, Duke Nukem, and so many other games. I remember we would get the games in a diskette in a magazine, and id Software put out these games, and they had shareware versions of the games. But what most people didn't know is that on the disc was the complete game. It was just locked behind the shareware facade. And if you knew what to do, you could unlock the whole game. And I remember that's how I first played Hexen, was by doing that, being able to unlock the full version of the game from a shareware diskette. So I'm setting up our next game here. It'll be a little bit more fun, a little bit more high pace. And I don't want to tell you what it is until it's in. It's just going to take another moment. So while we're waiting for that, Another one of the games that I played back in the day, one of my favorites. This was the second game I actually bought the CD for, and that was TIE Fighter. Classic game, TIE Fighter, X-Wing, and then there was X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. I remember playing that after getting Windows 95. That was something. Okay. So the game is good to go. It's starting up right now. And you may recognize this game, you may not. This game is called Quake 2.
Indicate possible chemical access in wet sector 132.
Just going to lower the volume here. It seems a bit much for me. Just a moment. Let's see if I can remember how to play this game. We'll go with medium right now. It's been a long time since I've played this game, and I forget the controls, but we're going to see what we can make of it. Okay, so A and Z for up and down, and then the arrow keys, space to jump. And control to fire. All right, these are awkward controls. Let's see if we can move them around a little bit. Options. awkward. Oh yeah, very, very awkward. It's funny because I recall, and maybe it was just me, but I recall being very good at this game. But I tell you, playing like this, it is. I must have customized the controls because. All right. We are going to try to get these options better. Okay. Attack, we're gonna. Okay. You know what, let's try. Board look. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work, but we are going to see. Okay. A little bit better, a little more fluid. What do you guys think? A little bit more of what I'm used to. Here we are swimming. Kind of crazy, but man. And this was what would later take the form of games like Unreal Tournament, things like that. And where you would battle royale it with your buddies. Yeah, I'm not very good at this anymore. Ooh. Oh, done. Quite the game. Quite the game, chat. So what'd you guys think of that? Just very impromptu. I thought I'd pull it up, see what it looked like after all these years. It's been so long since I played it. Quite the game. Let's see what else we can figure out here. So we played Betrayal at Krondor. We played some Quake just to see what it was like. Throwback. And see how awkward we could make things. But I remember playing that way back in the day. And having a blast playing it. But you look at it now up against games like Borderlands and Marvel Rivals. Oh my God, playing that up against Marvel Rivals. Or better yet, playing X-Men, the arcade game, and putting that up against Marvel Rivals. Man. Just thinking about that, the differences between the two. It's crazy. So I touched on this last week, but most of the games that we had back in the late 80s, early 90s were educational games. These games were marketed towards schools for education. And then there were the hobbyist games, the flight simulators, things like that. There weren't a ton of mainstream games that weren't console games. We had a few, but they didn't have access to the type of mechanics that would make games what they are today. So we had games like Civilization, which is a great game. We had games like The Oregon Trail, another classic game. Dungeons and Dragons put out a couple of games back then. There were simulation games. I saw that they're starting to make a big comeback. There was one simulation game called Wolf, where you were a wolf and you had to survive in the wild. And just the other day, I saw another game that I would swear is the exact same game, but updated for today. It was another game called Wolf, and let me see if I can pull up what it was. It was called, let's see, Wolf Quest. And I look at Wolf Quest, and it's the exact same game, but with updated graphics from that Wolf game way back in the late 80s, early 90s. There were some games like the JRPGs that we have now, or the visual novels that we have now. There were some like that. But to be honest, the majority of them were geography. Remember, there were a lot of ALF games, a lot of math games, They were basically math lessons with a thin veil of entertainment. But then there were games like Family Feud or Monopoly that kind of banked off of that element, that board game element. Be interesting to see what games you guys would like to see me play from years gone by. Not contemporary games, although I love to play those and I will. Um, but on the topic of older games, what games would you like to see me play or showcase here? Maybe a game from your past that you really enjoyed that, is not around anymore. I'll do my best to find it and put it up. Chess and checkers were always the staples. It's funny, I still have the CDs from Betrayal at Krondor and my X-Wing and TIE Fighter CDs. I still have those things, and they probably still play, although I don't have a Windows 95 computer to play them on. I'll probably spool one up. I think maybe we'll try a text adventure game like Zork or one of the others next time. And maybe a contemporary game or two as well. Just to spice it up a little. Let's see. Looking through my library here. A Bard's Tale. Now that was a good game too. A bit on the spicy side, from what I remember. Not quite the Leisure Suit Larry, but it was up there. It got a little bit. I remember there was one game that really tried to do something massive. It was, what's it called? Something like, um, let's see. It was a game where you were in control of a huge, huge ship. It was a flight sim type game, but you didn't just sit in the cockpit. You got up, you moved to different stations, you played different roles. Battle Cruiser 3000. That's what it was. Yeah. Battle Cruiser 3000. This game came out in '95 for MS-DOS, Take-Two Interactive Software, and it was huge. I remember seeing the user manual for that game, and it was massive. Massive. Just incredible. But I liked it because I had been playing other flight sim games, and the idea of doing something more than sitting in a cockpit intrigued me. So I gave it a shot, but to be honest, it was quite a bit to to take in and to work with. Quite a bit. Let's see what else we've got here. One more game. Let's try one more game. And this game is from quite a while ago, 1993. And Virgin Interactive Entertainment. This game is called Seventh Guest. I believe they remastered it. Made it playable for today's computers, but we're going to play the 1993 version. And we're going to see if it holds up at all, if it is playable. I remember playing this back in the day. And I was thinking this is supposed to be a horror game, a spooky type game. And I didn't get too far into it, but let's check up with the critters and see how they're doing. Gonna refresh the critter cam. See how my ladies are doing. There we go. So we're taking a look at our ladies. Now, you can see the coop there. I've got the side doors wide open. It's because I was cleaning it out and I wanted it to air it after I washed it. Usually that's closed up and gives them a bit of privacy, but today it's being aired out. It needs it. So it looks like they're all doing well. They got plenty of water. They got their food. And let's take a closer look here. How are we looking, girls? Come on now. I have got to get a better program for this because it does not like me. We'll restart it and see. I'm sure I'm glad I don't depend upon this for security. Okay. Launchbox and there we go. There are my ladies. They're looking pretty good. Let's move this critter cam. Oh, let's not move it just yet. Let's just make sure they're all doing okay. I feel bad because they're all in the shade. You know it's hot out there. You just know they're boiling. And you can't see it, but they've got some trees and some other places to be out in the yard area. But It is hot out there, I can tell. So hopefully real soon I'll get the other shade curtains in and I'll be able to give them a lot more of what they deserve. Okay, let's see how our game is doing. 7th guest still installing here, so that'll be another moment. Okay. Okay, looks like it's starting up. So let's switch on over. Control F4 to switch between CDs when prompted. Okay, and don't quite know exactly what I'm doing here. I'm trying. There we go. All right. Let's see if we can get some sound going on here.
He was a drifter, moving from town to town, robbing a gas station here, a grocery store there, until one night.
I hope that's loud enough.
She was coming home from choir practice, but she never got there. Stoff took her purse and ran away. Spent, Stoff had to run and hide. He sunk even lower. He had nothing. No life, no possessions, no dreams.
So this was another game that built off of the same type of a technology that Myst used.
A doll. And in his dream, Stoff reached out. Stoff carved the doll, whittling the haunting face until it was an exact replica. And when he was done, Stoff went to town, to a bar. The owner had a daughter. Ooh, he said his girl would love the strange doll. And Stoff offered it to the man. And the owner, in turn, offered Stoff food and a place to stay. A simple transaction. The first of many. And that night, Stoff had another vision. Stoff created the puzzle just as he saw it, and everyone wanted one.
I love how it builds the vibe.
Opened up a shop because everyone wanted a Stoff toy. Every boy and girl in the town, and from all the neighboring towns. A Stoff toy is a toy for life, people said, and no two are alike. Everyone loved his unique toys. Henry Stoff grew wealthy, but then the strange virus came.
Uh-oh.
Some of the children started dying. Dying, clutching their Stoff toys so close.
Strange illness.
And there was this one last vision, a last dream of a great house, a mansion that the wealthy toy maker was to build. A strange house, a house that scared people.
Booga booga. All right.
My, isn't this a cheery place?
Oh, I like the skull.
Edward, I'm not sure we should have been here today.
Why? Because it's a spooky old house? Don't worry, dear. I'll watch out for you.
What? Don't. I expected more of Mr. Stoff.
Love the overacting.
And Lord, it smells awful too. What's Stoff been doing here?
You've got to have a wizard.
How did Ember? No, I remember nothing.
Okay. So let's see what we can do. So if we can't do something, we'll get the no finger. And if we can, we'll get the come along. This way, that way. What should we do? I say we go forward. Love the cinematics. You gotta remember, for 1993, this was fabulous. Okay, looks like a dinner party. Some type of a cake, maybe.
I guess our host wants us to fend for ourselves.
Oh, I've tasted better fare.
At least he left his regrets.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
I don't know.
Oh, it says that we're each to have a piece. Exactly the same, including the symbols. But that's impossible.
It looks like the wizard, the one that was standing about here, Hamilton Temple, played by Ted Lawson. A professional stage magician nearing the end of his career. He is a kindly man who also tries to help Tad, and he gets along well with Eleanor Knox. His greatest desire is to know if there is such a thing as real magic. After trying to convince Tad to trust him, Hamilton... Oh, that's a spoiler. We're not going to do a spoiler. And it looks like our character, who we are playing, is called Ego. The married couple in the back that were here are Edward and Eleanor Knox, played by Larry Rower and Jolene Patrick. Julia Hine, played by Julia Tucker, was here. She was the extravagant older woman. Brian Dutton was the younger man here with the cane. Martine Burden, played by Deborah Riz Matson, was the young lady who was right about here, I believe. So let's see what we can do. Cannot sit down. And we have a puzzle. So everyone needs the same type of piece.
Become a grave digger now, have we? You are a glutton for punishment.
So everyone needs a piece of the cake, and it all needs to be the same.
Two skulls and two stones. The rest is just icing.
Puzzling. Some cannot be created more equal than others.
So that's one piece. So each one gets two skulls, two gravestones, and one piece of icing. No. here, 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 and here. So we've got 2 people done. Okay. Okay, and I think that's everyone. The last pieces we'll just parcel out. No, we didn't do it. Oh no, they all need to be connected.
I'm going to have to start again.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start again. Okay, so how are we gonna do this? That's gotta be one. That's gotta be another. That could be one. And that one wouldn't be. To do here.
2 skulls and 2 stones. The rest is just icing.
Puzzling. Some cannot be created more equal than others.
What do we think, chat? I think that those 2 are given. Here or here. I think it's got to be here. So let's leave this and go to this side. If I do that. Wow, this is quite the teaser, isn't it? Could do, because they have to be connected. Here, 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 here. What about here, 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 and here. Yeah, but then we're not going to have any over there. Will that do, or am I going to be stuck with that one piece? Are they going to let me do it? I don't know, chat. Nope. Got to start over. Do you see the solution? So we could do straight down here. And that'll get those out of the way. Then we could do these five right here. That'll get those out of the way. And then we could do those. Get those out of the way. Let's try that line of thinking.
2 skulls, 2 stones. The rest is just icing.
Some cannot be created more equal than others.
So then I'm going to take these 5 right here, and then take these 5 right here. And then we can take these 5 right here, and then those 5, and then those 5. Yeah, let's do that. And that should give it to us. What do you think? Okay, we'll take those. Okay, now next we're going down the bottom. Okay. Here. I think we've done it. We've broken the cake code. We did it! We did it!
There.
Don't worry. I won't bite. Edward, we could help each other out.
So that's
I could help you.
Edward Knox
And you could help
and
me.
Martine Barton, I believe.
Come and talk in my bedroom upstairs, where it's nice and private.
Oh, that should be Martine. Screams. Okay. Now, where are we going? We don't have to do that again.
Come to my room upstairs.
Let's see what else we have. So we've solved the puzzle in this room. Let's move on to the next. Try to get more of the story. Do we go upstairs? All right. So we can't go in here yet. Okay. Just a second. I have to let my little puppy out of the room. All right, he's all set. So since we can't do anything here yet, let's move upstairs and see what is going on. There are only so many different ways you can move around in these older games. So yep, we've been in there. Oh, what's back here? Looks like we're in the kitchen.
Yes, this is it. No, it isn't. I still...
I like how we're seeing the shadows of images. Looks like shadows of the past almost. They're not ghosts, but shadows of the past. I don't think I'd ever store my cleaver like that. Ah.
There's food for thought. Be warned, though. Your mind will be gorged before this night is done.
Oh boy. All right, so I think this one will go here. No vowels. We have no vowels. How? Goodness. I'm not quite sure. Are we trying to spell something? We have an O. A lot of Y's. Six, five, five, five. So I think or.
There's more to these cans than meets the eye.
don't know what we're doing here.
I'm going to have to start again.
I think we're going to leave this one for a little bit. Maybe come back to it. Because I'm not sure what exactly we're trying to solve for here. Can't go in there. Okay, let's try to go upstairs and see what's going on up there. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Let's return.
Welcome to my house.
We really don't want to quit. Is this going to start us all over? Come on now. Well, that's not very intuitive, now is it? I think I just accidentally restarted. I do love the music, though. Yeah, we really don't want to go through everything again. Okay.
He
Well,
was a drifter, moving from town to town.
here's what we'll do, peeps. I will get us back to that point off screen, and we will try it again for next time. And we'll give this game another shot then, because I am interested to see, and I will not look up the solution to that puzzle. I want to get it on our own, and we'll play through it and we'll see what we can do. Okay, but for now, I think that it's only been 2 hours. Would you like to try? Let's see. Let's see about a contemporary game. Something that is more up to date, more modern day. but still something this really, really old computer can handle. So let's see, what shall we play? You know what, I think we will end it here for right now. I'm going to go out and check on the ladies, make sure they're all right. And we will catch you again real soon. I'm going to try to stream a lot more during the week and see what I can do about setting a schedule. Again, this is all very new to me, so, and I'm still trying to work out all the bugs on this setup. Still trying to get everything working properly. I can't wait to get that other critter cam so you guys can see the girls' yard and watch them play with their toys. But I think Monday we'll do another stream. Monday about 11 my time. That's 2 Eastern. Oh no, 1 Eastern. Yeah, about 1 o'clock Eastern. We'll see about that. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for coming on in and hanging out, stopping by. I love it when the critters gather. And let me know what you think about my model, about getting a live 2D model. If anyone can design and actually rig a gnome that is not anime. I mean, I love anime, don't get me wrong, but this gnome is not an anime character. He is a gnome. But I'd love to have a chibi. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah. I'd love to see a gnome chibi. Oh well. Thank you guys, and I will see you next time.